Brentford reject Manchester United's new £62.5 million bid. This came across the wire 2 days ago. And prior to that, we basically made a bid of $45 million. That was rejected on June 5th. So what are we doing for almost 25 days, upping the bid $10 million? The difference in the bid really comes down to the add-ons. The 45 was plus 10. The 55 is plus 7.5. We're creeping up on valuation. The rumor is Brentford wants 62.5, or they value Mbeumo more than Cunha. They believe from an attacking output perspective that we should be paying more, a premium for Mbeumo, and United being coy, saying, hey, we might get you there with the add-ons, but up front, we're going to hold the line at 55. That obviously rejected. So, sir, is there hope to get this done anytime soon?
I mean, at this point, if United didn't get the deal over the line, it'd be pretty embarrassing just because you went in with 2 offers, you burnt a month of time, and then to have him, stay at Brentford, sign another deal, go to Spurs, that would be even worse. I think we're going to get there. It's about the add-ons. Like you said, it's at $55 million right now as kind of the flat set-in fee. Do they get it up to 60 plus 5 or plus 7.5, or do they need everything guaranteed up to 62.5, and it's just a little add-on from there, and then it's the installment breakdown. But he's a great player. He's the type of player we want to get in. But at this point, you're paying market. You're paying arguably, slightly above market. But this was the
fair.
Number.
It's fair. It's
he's
fair
worth
market.
it.
It's
He's
fair
hitting,
market.
Dude, he's hitting for a Brentford player to score 20 goals. I know there's a bunch of penalties in there. He adds a tremendous attacking threat for United, a goal scorer as well. Him with Cunha would be terrific. Playing behind whoever, playing in front of Bruno Fernandes. That is just exciting to see. But at this point, it's like you would have hoped we can get this deal done in a matter of days to a week, given that the fact that we're basically hitting their price. I think they wanted £65 million, somewhere between 60 and 70 a month ago. And now here we are, a month later, getting pretty close to that. So if the deal gets over the line, it'll be right in the bandwagon, right in the wheelhouse or the ballpark of what Brentford expected. I don't understand why we wasted a month getting there. Maybe it's because they know we can't do any selling, maybe until the new PSR window opens up, or maybe they can't do any buying until we get rid of some of our dead wood.
Other clubs have come sniffing around this transaction, and Mbeumo only wants United. Apparently, the personal terms are agreed with Manchester United. It's rumored around $200K a week, but there's no concrete sources there. It's coming out of the rags, as we like to say, 250, 200. I've even heard less than that. So no concrete source on the wages, just the upfront offers. Now, as far as the transaction, given it was rejected, is there hope? So we're going to go to Mike Keegan at the Daily Mail. He says, quote, Mbeumo has told Brentford he wants to move to Manchester United and a breakthrough is expected. According to those with knowledge of the situation, there is a belief the deal will be done. So from the Daily Mail, take with a grain of salt, but they are saying Brentford value him a little higher than Cunha, as well as the fact that there's belief that they can get a deal done. It's just going to come down over the finer bits of haggling in the transaction. And we wanted to take a little deep dive into whether or not Brentford is making sense, saying, is Mbeumo worth more than Matheus Cunha? Like I said, Cunha's buyout clause was £62.5 million, and obviously Brentford want the £62.5 million up front, maybe some add-ons on top of that, and United are at 55 plus 7.5. It's not too far off, but looking into the stats, yes, Mbeumo did score more goals than Cunha. He had 20 and 8 assists in the league. Cunha had 15 and 6, but Mbeumo took 5 penalties. So 5 penalty goals, you take those away, they're basically even. And then looking at the advanced stats, Cunha outdoes Mbeumo in every single metric as it relates to non-penalty XG, XG plus X assist, and that takes account per 90 and there's no penalties included, right? So if you normalize it for the penalties that Mbeumo took, Cunha actually outpaces him in progressive carries and dribbles. If you look at the advanced stats map here, Cunha is the superior player. So this is just what we like to call some haggling, right? Brentford's hanging on to those 20 goals, 20 EPL goals, and then United's saying, hey, there's penalties in there. Cunha probably outperforms them. So they're haggling over that last, hopefully, £5 million, whether it's up front or in add-ons. We're pretty close.
We're getting there. Either way, I mean, they have an argument to be made, right? They have 20 goals in the EPL, even with penalties, is quite an achievement for any player. I think there's only 3 players above them, and their names are what? Salah, Holland, and I think Isaac from Newcastle. So he's quite a player. And at the same time, you can make the argument, and it makes sense to me that Cunha is probably slightly ahead of him because Wolves were an inferior team for most of the season against Brentford. Brentford's always been a steady Eddie team. They've been very, very solid under Thomas Frank. Obviously, Thomas Frank is going to Spurs this summer. So I think the fact that Cunha was right on his heels, if you remove penalties while playing for a team that was fighting relegation for the first 4 months of the year, he's a real player, but they both are. They both offer a lot. They play on the opposite sides of the pitch. They complement each other. They're really good ball carriers. So I get it. I can get the justification. Let's just get there and stop wasting time because the players are expected back to Carrington in like a little bit over a week. It's very important to get as many of these players in, and he's one of them. He's a big personality, and we got to get the attack jiving because that was the biggest issue. We had a lot of issues last year, but goal scoring and giving them reps to play together, even with a Hoyland up front, even with a Cheeto, or a Xerxes, just like, this is who we got. Let's get them in and let's start getting to work. And that's why you can understand their argument. Also, they're probably a little worried about next season. They just lost their coach. They just lost their captain to Arsenal and now their best player. So they're probably trying to get as much cash as they can in because they're going to have to reinforce in a serious way. Not in a dissimilar way that Wolves. Like, Wolves are going to be in trouble. They lost 2 of their best players as well. So just pay up. Just pay up. We're close. Just stop wasting time.
Yeah, look, I think the outcome here ultimately is United stepping up a little bit on the guaranteed money, right? They have 55. They could get the 58 or 60 plus the 7.5. Does that get Brentford comfortable given with add-ons? They could go north of the Cunha valuation. I would expect United to maybe budge a little bit in that direction and hopefully get the announcement in early July, right before preseason. That would be ideal. You know, I think United will have to come up. I do think it's a fair valuation. The optics of United just dragging this out and continually upping their bids while Brentford rebuffs us isn't a good look. I'd rather have it just kind of dealt with behind the scenes, and then we offer something we know will be accepted. That would just be better optically for the front office of United. That's not the way they're rolling. But, sir, what do you think? Is Mbeumo going to be on the preseason tour for Manchester United? We think medical, deal done. Is he wearing red in the great US of A?
I hope so. I mean, I think it happens. I think, like you said, if this deal falls apart now at the 11th hour, it's deeply embarrassing to Manchester United.
Hope so. Yes. No.
I'm saying
maybe
yeah.
so.
A Muppet yes. It's a Muppet yes. I'm taking the yes because it's been dragging on. He only wants United. We've clearly shown the interest. It's like, what, a matter of £7.5 million in terms of guarantees versus not guarantees. Just get there. You got to be there. Need him in red. Need the beard.
It's going to happen.
Head.
It's a matter of when. I'm going to go, yes, he's on preseason tour as well. And then we're going to consult the Magic 8 Ball here.
What's it got to say?
Shaking it up. It says, yes, definitely. And Mbeumo
Fuck
coming
yeah,
preseason
let's go,
tour,
baby.
USA, baby. Everybody get the Mbeumo kits ready to go.